First of all, thanks for taking the time to be here to attend this shootout session. And again, my name is Javier Ramirez, and I work as a practice lead team here at Turnkey Technologies. So we run the D365 Finance and Operation portfolio and Business Central portfolio as well. So today, I'm going to guide you through some important topics about F&O. What do we need to know? And most of all, how does F&O help us to be more efficient, right, and manage in a more efficient way our business? What kind of different tools do we have to interact with? So again, I will try to show you an experience of not just an ERP who can process any kind of business business processes, but a solution or an integral solution that is flexible as well to adapt to the size of a company as needed and grow as the business is growing. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing this PowerPoint, and then we're going to be jumping around. So first of all, Microsoft Dynamics Finance and Operations integrated tool, as I mentioned, you're flexible. So that means we can connect several solutions that are around all Microsoft stack, right? So in this first slide, you can see that finance and operations can be integrated with talent, with CRM, with field service, with project service automation. So that means if right now we are using just a CRM or just a field service application, we can connect finance and operations by default by using Microsoft pre-defaulted connectors and business rules by using common data model. So in this demo, I will show you how we can integrate CRM with finance and operations, right? So I will create a customer inside CRM, and then we're going to see how it gets created in F&O. As well, there are some Power Apps that are embedded in the system, so I'm also going to be working with my mobile device. So that's basically the first slide that I wanted to show you, just to make sure that we are not just talking about one ERP. It's one ERP that can be surrendered from a lot of different solutions that are part of a Microsoft stack. Okay. So our next slide is, as I was telling you, is we have everything Office 365 integrated, Power Apps, App Source. So during this demo, you are going to be looking into most of these ones. I will show you Power Apps. I will show you Office 365. I will show you Power BI. So let's continue. Let's go ahead. Areas of investment. Right now, Microsoft has been investing a lot of money and a lot of resources in F&O. So we are adding, or they are adding, more capabilities and more releases every month, every 6 months. So basically just at the beginning of April, we had the last release. So right now we have D365 Finance Operations in the version or number 10 version, which is the one that I will be showing you today. So the latest and greatest version that we have right now on the market. So industries, several type of industries, manufacturing, doesn't matter if you are discrete manufacturing, process manufacturing, lean manufacturing, right? 3 of them are interacting together, or probably there are some big corporates that they have the 3 types on it. So we don't need to acquire 3 different solutions, right? We can adapt the system to use some of these functionalities for a specific companies, or even at a warehouse level detail. So probably I just have one company, but I have different warehouses. One does process, one does discrete, another one goes to lean. So do we have a capability to adopt all those processes inside F&O? The answer is yes. Retail, yeah, we have a POS. We have a way to have a B2B option here. So we can create catalogs. We can include our vendor catalogs in the system. Service industries, all kinds of service industries. There is service management model. There is a project management model using financials. Well, basically we can do recurrent invoices, subscriptions, service orders, dispatching, consumables, and based on those consumables start planning what do I need to have on my warehouse in order to probably replenish mobile locations, right, for our field agents. Public sector, same thing. Important stuff for public sector is budget control. It's a part of grants. So budget control embedded, grants embedded, distribution. Well, we have transportation management, we have warehouse management. So 3PL companies are working on finance and operations since the time how do we receive sales orders via EDI? Yeah, what engines do we have in F&O by standard to receive EDI, right? Instead, plugging an extra tool is what are our capabilities to receive XML files, and most important at all is how we can design XML files per customer, right? Because not all of our customers are going to send us the information in the same way. So how do we do that? That's part of F&O. So as I was telling you, we have receivables, GL, payables, cash, and bank. So all the regular models that you can find on an ERP. So first thing at all, I was talking to you about an experience, right? So the first thing is we have a navigation based on workspaces. What is a workspace? A workspace is just a place where I can log in. Okay, once I log into finance and operations, I can have my daily jobs and my daily tasks on this workspace. I don't need to be navigating anywhere. I don't need to learn paths. I just can have some tiles saying how many open activities do I have, how many customers over credit limit do I have, and then I'm going to click on that and have an action, right? From in this dashboard that you are looking here is the collection dashboards. One of the most or the pains of the companies is put together how much money our client owes us. Okay, what is the aging report? And it's something that we got to take a look, because at the end of the day, this is money on our pockets, right? So how I can see in a first glance which ones are the customers that are balance due, right, based on an aging report period definition. A lot of companies today, what they do is they print out the report and they take actions from there. Well, no report is needed in here. The report comes just at the same time that you open your workspace, right? So how do you have your age balance, 90 days, 60 days? Once we click this, we're going to go to the detail, balance by the status, promise to pay, disputed. We can have cases. We can know what is going on with every single thing at the same time, just opening our workspace. So that is user experience. Okay, so I'm going to show you that in the live demo. Business analytics, Power BI. Yep, doesn't matter. Let's say you have a Salesforce practice, right? And you already are using Power BI and you have some reports already created. I really don't need to integrate Salesforce to finance and operations to see reports and data from there. I can take the Power BI reports and place them inside F&O, even if they are coming from a different tool. Right, so I'm going to show you how we can see reports that are coming from Business Central, how we can put reports that are coming from CRM, right? So this means we are able to obtain or to place information from other sources inside F&O. Okay, so that's another great tool, which basically is based on Power BI, and we embedded it in finance and operations. A little bit more of Power BI. Role-based security system, yep, we have around, I don't know, like probably 60 different roles in the tool. Every role have different permissions. Every role have different accesses, so this is important. And the most important thing is how do we define which role is required to perform some activities, right? So I will show you how do we perform that, which is usually a pain on implementations. So in implementations, it's like, okay, everyone kind of starts as a sysadmin. Why? Because it's difficult to get what type of role do you need to perform a specific action on a specific field. So that is one of the things that F&O attacks when you are using what we call task recorder. Task recorder is giving you even the level of permissions that a person needs to have in order to perform an action. And then we can take, basically, we can place those permissions on their users. Integration with Office 365, total integration here is I'm going to show you the Excel add-in. I'm going to show you how we can upload expenses from our bank. Let's say I need to make easier, the expense management from my customers needs to be an easy experience. So what if someone in the company can download all the information per credit card, upload it, and then on my dashboard, I will be able to see what are my expenses and just add them to a report, right? And just add a picture. So that is user experience. We will show you that part. How we can upload GL entry journals, right? Common common practice for our financial departments, for our GL departments. Yeah, how do we upload mass journals, right? We're going to talk about that as well. So um, budgeting, well, yeah, as I told you, it's for public sector, really important. For a lot of private companies, right now it's getting more importance, right? What type of levels do we have on our budget? Okay, how do we manage it? How do we do pre-encumbrances? Okay, how do we set up all that stuff? Every single thing that represents money can be subject to a budget. Fixed assets, yep, main stuff for manufacturing companies. For let's say if I'm manufacturing machines, some of those machines probably I will use them for internal trade shows, and I need to have fixed assets. So how do I create a fixed asset from a manufacturing perspective? How do I create a project where I will have all the expenses and all the materials that were used to create that fixed asset? How do I convert at the end of the day that product into a fixed asset while it was accounting in WIP, right? So all this stuff, it's part of our out-of-the-box functionality. All that can be converted to a fixed asset. Different type of books. So do we need to have a federal book for federal taxes? Do we need to have an state book for state taxes? Do we need to have another book for current operations? Yep, basically we can have different books on one fixed asset. So every single one is going to have this type of movements, acquisitions, adjustments, transfers from reserve. It's allowing special depreciations, depreciation adjustment, revaluations, write-ups or write-downs, disposals, disposals for scrap, disposals for sale, provisions for reserve, and at the end of the day, you're going to have a profit and loss and a net book value for every single fixed asset. So there's no process that cannot be placed inside finance and operations. Workflows, definitely I'm going to show you as well how do we measure a workflow, and a workflow can be applied for almost every single process here. Purchase requisitions, purchase order changes, vendor invoices, vendor payments. So if there is a discrepancy in a three-way matching, depending on the discrepancy, probably it's quantity. Okay, I have someone from the warehouse taking a look using a workflow, and after that someone from AP is going to probably approve as a second approval. And how we can measure this, so I really don't need to be calling the other department about what's the status of my workflow, what's the status of my requisition, right? I can see everything in here, and how do I leverage mobile devices to approve so I don't need to be sitting in front of my computer to perform an action. So alerts, yep, it is a common requirement from a lot of customers. Say, you know what, I need to have an alert every time I have a credit limit exceeded for a customer. I need to have an alert every time we drop a sales order for my customers. Okay, so those alerts can be personalized. Those alerts can be part of our D365 implementations. Human resources, it's another thing that is embedded. So to generate paychecks, so to send those to payments and create ACHs to our employees, right? Our employees are going to be treated as vendors as well. So every time we run our paycheck, well, or our payroll, that is going to generate a payment to our invoice, to our employees as vendors, and that will create an ACH file that we can take it and import it into the bank. So that's kind of what we have here. We're talking about the payroll. So inventory, I'm going to show you the interface with the mobile device, how we can use warehouse management to receive. Today's scenario is going to be for those companies that receive products with serial numbers, right? Let's say we are a big 3PL distributor and I'm distributing cell phones. right? So one requirement is every time I receive a pallet of cell phones, I need to know which serial numbers are there. ASNs, how I can receive an advanced shipping notice from my vendor. So I really just need to scan the pallet and I will see all the serial numbers that are preloaded instead being scanning 10,000 times a serial number or serial numbers, right? We don't need to scan 10,000 serial numbers. That is not business process improvement. Business process improvement is how do I get an ASN inside the system before the product arrives, and then I just scan the license plate that is going to come printed in the pallet, and I will see whatever it's inside of it, right? So we are going to show you that in this demonstration. So that's WMS. Master planning, definitely we're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking how do we plan for all our requirements, and those requirements could be forecast, those requirements could be actual sales demand, those requirements could be restocking levels, right? So can we handle master planning? And most important is what actions the system let me know that I need to take, and how I can see a multi-level pegging of why this requirement is appearing, right? I really don't want to be looking into three or four different screens. I just want one screen that tells me that I need to purchase this material because it's going to be used in this part of the line in a specific production order that has been created for a specific sales order. Multi-level planning or multi-level packing, explosions, all that stuff, it's included. Demand forecasting, yep. How many times do we have this need, and a lot of different softwares says, okay, you need to build your history inside the ERP, and probably in 1 year you're going to be able to generate a forecast, right? Well, we can upload your history about what you were selling, about what you were using, okay, and then run a demand forecasting and place our horizon from where to where do we want to have that demand. Okay, run the forecast modeler that it's based on SQL, okay, SQL algorithms, and we will have information about what we are going to be selling in the next year or in the next 2 years, depending on how many months do we want to see up front at the time we are running the forecast. Production orders, I told you today we're going to see 3 different ways to manage production orders. That's two is going to be one is going to be shop floor control for those companies who basically need a really tight control about what is happening on my floor. Another way, it's going to be a classic production order where the paper just goes around and we post manually picking lists. Okay, and the third one is going to be a Kanban. Okay, so those 3 scenarios are going to be shown today. And again, this goes through a model like crawl, walk, run. Right, we can start low with a paper process, right, and then we can start crawling, and then we can start running. And probably at some point I will be operating 100% on shop floor control. Right? Or probably today I will start with shop floor control in only one of my sites, but another site is going to have a rollout in 4 months. Can we do that? Can we start paper and then go through a most advanced way to handle stuff? Yep, of course we can do that. It's a product that is flexible and it's scalable. So important stuff is, when do I need to release something to my floor, right? A vision that a lot of production controllers and production managers wants to have. Like, hey, yeah, you're telling me that I need to produce. A planner is telling me you got to produce 10,000 pieces of this product. But that is different than, okay, when I can place it into my floor, right? Based on material availability, based on resource availability, how does the system can tell me or can give me insights about when and who can perform the tasks, right? And how do I align the entire next operations inside the same scheduling? That's the other thing that we're going to show you today. A little bit overview about project management. A project basically can be a repository of multiple actions, right? A project can be a repository of manufacturing orders, purchase orders, sales orders, expenses, timesheets, right? We can have quotations, we can have campaigns, we can have construction companies, advertising companies, legal companies. We talk about work breakdown structure so we can have tasks. We talk about budgeting even if we need to by task. We talk about categories to know which kind of skills and which kind of employees can perform one activity. Okay, so it's huge. Project management and accounting is a huge monster that allow us to manage every project independently. And we can take even statements that it's going to allow us or that are going to allow us to create P&Ls per project. So that's the bottom line. So you can see here some project statements. Basically, you can have the actuals and then compare against budgets. So you will have the summary of transactions, how many hours, okay, what the amount of expenses, how much we are spending on items, what's my total consumption, payroll allocation. Okay, so all these can be WIP. Depending on the type of project, we can store all this in WIP, and once we make an estimation, we can send it to a P&L. That depends on the type of project. We have fixed price projects, we have T&M projects, we have investment projects, we have time projects, so all that stuff, it's there. So I'm going to jump then right away to our F&O environment, right? So I'm going to start working on it on the live environment. So first of all, I was telling you this should be or this must be a user experience, right? So right now what I'm going to assume is that I'm part of my credit and collections team, right? So every time I log in, what I'm going to see is this, customer credit and collections. So how does this look? Okay, perfect. I have here my company, the company that I'm working with. Hey, result, this is a really huge corporate, and probably I'm part of the finance department or the credit and collection department and handles 3 different companies. How I can change this information based on the company? You just drill down here, right? So USSI, and now the numbers of USSI are going to appear, you see? There's nothing in USSI. I'm pretty clear in USSI. I have a lot of work to do related to USMF, right? In USMF, I have 5 customers over credit limit. Let's take a look which customers are those. Okay, so right now I can see here that this is the amount balance due. I have problems with this, guys, and then I can start taking some actions. Do I need to create a new collection letters? Do I need to start writing off some amounts because they are not going to pay this? Do we need to start generating a interest journal, right? Do I need to create a new appointment or a new action to start addressing these $159,000 there, right? So again, it's all from here. That's what I do. Sales orders on hold. Hey, yeah, I have some sales orders on hold because my customer has a balance due. So can we generate different hold codes? Of course, we can generate different hold codes. And some of them are going to generate automatic actions, and some of them are going to be manual actions, right? So you have a hold user ID. This user was the one who put on hold that, that transaction, and this has been 700 days on hold. Okay, and we can clear the holds, clear and modify, or clear and submit if we have a workflow, right? So different actions that can be generated out from my out of my workspace. So going here, I was telling you age balances as of 4/25. I want to see 90 days. Okay, let's just click on this one, and I have the list of them. Okay, so right now I can see again all the balances that are current 30 days, current 60 days, 90 days, more than 180 days. Okay, so everything just in my first page. I have here other stuff, same thing, customers overdue, credit limits. So these are balance due, credit limit. So we can have a comparison about which customers are out. And these are the same 5 that we will look at the very beginning. Now, for example, let's say I want to add something here into my, I want to add a new dashboard or a new report into my workspace. And this report is going to come from, I don't know, CRM or even an Excel spreadsheet, right? So how do I do that? I can come here and hit options and open a report catalog. And now that I have a report catalog here, you can see all these are reports that are coming from Power BI. And I have a lot of stuff in here probably coming from Business Central, right? Because probably I have a sister company. Oh, what happened? Oh, yeah. A sister company that uses BC, right? So I can pull out reports from there. So let's say right now I just want to use something called warehouse performance. I select it, I click OK, and if I refresh this screen, you will see something that wasn't there. In here, I will be able to see, let me just go to the right. I need to hide this bar. If I scroll all the way down, now you will see these Power BI reports and it's going to say warehouse performance. If I click on it, boom, this goes there, reads the information and give me this. Right? So how easy for us is to pull reports from Power BI? It's that easy. So in your workspace, you just can go there here and open it. You can open this in Power BI. Yep, you can open this in Power BI. And that is going to take you to the Power BI application, right? So everything out from F&O. Got it. So I'm going to close this one now. And once we saw that, that's integration with Power BI. Okay, so I'm going back to my customer and create collections. What other actions we can create here? Create a new customer. I want to see analytics in all the companies. This is what workspaces are used for, guys. Okay, this is the kind of integration and kind of interaction that you can have out from F&O. Okay, so I have analytics in all companies, write-offs. Let's take a look at the write-offs. I make a click here. I can show the data or see the records. Let's see the records. There you go. Company DMF, write-off amount, reason codes, customer names, main accounts that were hit. We can go back to the report, right? So drill down based on Power BI reports, and all these reports are just available to be pulled just using the options personalize and open report catalog. We can also create dashboard catalogs and open tile catalogs. So workspaces, guys. So let me just show you something else that it's about experience. So I'm going to start doing something here. I'm going to create a purchase order, right? So let's start talking about procurement to pay process, right? So procurement to pay, I will go to a purchase order preparation stuff and I can select new purchase order. That's what I do. I create new purchase orders, right? But wait a second. You know what? I want to record this operation so I can have a document that someone else can follow up, okay, every time we have a new employee. So I'm going to use what we call task recorder. I'm going to start creating a record. This is going to be PO creation. Okay, PO creation. Now I'm going to start. Hit start. Now I'm going to purchase order preparation. I'm going to create new purchase order. You will see how all these steps are getting recorded on my right side. So I'm going to select my vendor. I'm going to select Acme. Where do I need to receive this? Probably I need to receive this on my warehouse 24. Okay, I have a list of warehouses here. And I don't need to have active change management for this, so I'm going to hit OK. And then my next step is, let's select my item number. It's a 27. There you go. WMS product serial number. I have 5 pieces, and I have a unit price already based on the vendor stuff. So I'm done. I'm going to stop this recording, and I'm going to save it to this PC, let's say. So right now I'm going to hit save as, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. PO creation 1. Okay, that's it. So what is going to happen every time you have a new employee? What you can provide them is a list of procedures that were stored as Word documents, right? And you can say here, hey, you know what? This is your instruction. Go to your task recorder, okay, and hit play recording as a guide. Open from your PC or from Lifecycle Services. You select your file and you hit open task guide and you say start task guide. So right now, this is telling you, go to all workspaces, purchase order preparation. Okay, purchase order preparation. Next step, you see how this is moving. This is user experience. New purchase order, third step. In the vendor account field, enter or select a value. This is moving. And this is basically just going to take you to the next field. So I'm typing that one. Okay, I'm going to disable my next check and I'm going to hit OK. And you see, I will continue doing this as like type an item number. So I will select my item number. And then it says in the quantity field, select the quantity. I'm going to say 5. And now I'm done, right? This is the way we can ensure that every single person that joins our company will have a set of instructions about how to process every single task needed. Okay, so this was pretty simple, a PO creation, and part of the implementation is to put all these documents together, so you will reduce the learning curve of your users. So I'm going to close this one. Now, guys, I don't know if you have this kind of challenge on your organization. So give me a second. I'm just going to go here. So we were talking about purchase orders, right? And we were talking about a lot of EDI. How can I send EDI to our vendors? How can I send how they can send confirmations to me? Okay. So how we can tackle this with finance and operations? There is something built in called vendor collaboration. So that means that by just clicking this button, I will be sending this for confirmation to my vendors, right? So right now I'm saying these items are so important in my company that I need my vendors to confirm me if they can fulfill them or not, right? So now, what's my vendor action? See something. We have here a purchase order confirmation workspace that it's saying purchase orders for review, right? So this is my purchase order 1006, which is the one that I just created. The idea here is to provide an external user access to your vendors so they can see everything that they need to approve or reject, accept or reject, or generate suggest changes. So let's say I'm a vendor and I'm logging into my workspace, which is the only one that I have access for. And I will say, hey, you know what? USMF is telling me that if I can provide them by this date, all these pieces. And I can say accept, I can say reject, or even I can tell them, hey, you know what? I cannot. I'm going to suggest a change. I cannot provide you 5 pieces as a vendor. Okay? I need to sell you 10 pieces. and I will say accept with changes. If you accept these changes, I'm good with it. See, we have disclosures even saying that the vendor is going to accept this PO and it's pending for the customer response. So I will click OK. Now, in a classic flow, this goes back to my office where I'm going to say, okay, you know what? Let's talk about purchase order preparation, which is my workflow or my workspace. And I will see here in external review requires action. My vendor already replied, and they are telling me that, let's see the changes. They are telling me that they cannot fulfill 5. They need to fulfill 10. I'm okay buying 10. If I am, all that I need to do is say confirm and hit OK. So right now there is a communication between vendor and your company inside F&O, providing them an external access with an external user that just have the privilege to see their workspace. So forget about EDIs regarding sending POs, regarding sending things back. Forget about requests for quotations where you need to type in information. They can just type it in right away on an RFQ, right? And then we can just proceed with actions. This is what we have. So right now, there is a purchase order already confirmed, right? So now I'm gonna say this item was a serialized item, and I ordered 5 pieces, right? So I'm going to take a look to my purchase orders pretty quick. In my purchase order, in my purchase order preparation, I will be able to see here all my purchase orders. You see in my workspace again, all my purchase orders, and I will select the another 0. Okay, I have this PO. This PO has 5 pieces, $15. Good. It's a serialized item. Next step is my vendor, they can send ASNs, right? So how can I upload an ASN inside F&O? This functionality for a lot of different systems, it's something that it's not out of the box. So let's say my vendor sends an ASN. How do I load it? We have something called data management. And in here, this can be running periodically. I'm going to open this one. Okay, and I'm just going to hit import, which doesn't need to be. You don't need to have it. I'm going to just do import. I'm going to hit OK. And you see how this starts running and starts inserting information in different tables. All these tables are part of the ASN process. Okay, so my vendor just dropped an ASN, and now the system generates all these registers. Crystal clear for the users, right? So now my next step, let's say it's receive. So I'm going to go through my mobile device, right? I'm on an inbound dock of the company, and I'm saying, okay, I'm the user MD01, and this is my password. And I receive a truck. I see that the truck is coming. Good, perfect. We unload the truck. Okay, perfect. And a pallet has a license plate pasted on it, right? A code. So if I hit here, license plate receiving, it's going to tell me, okay, scan the license plate. Right now, I'm going to type it in. So it's 14251902. This is the license plate that we just uploaded. And this is telling me right away that inside that pallet, we have these items with these serial numbers. So this reduces the time that I need to spend scanning serial number by serial number, right? So I'm saying, yep, all this is there. I'm gonna hit OK. Oh, you are in the wrong warehouse. Good validation. So hit cancel and go back again, right? Because this warehouse, it's 24 warehouse. So I'm gonna change my warehouse. I'm gonna say 24, this is the warehouse where I need to be to receive this purchase order, right? So now I'm changing and I do again my steps. License plate receiving, I scan my license plate, which was 04251902. I see all the information once again and I hit this button. And basically I will say cancel. That's all that I'm receiving. Okay, first action on my inbound, I unload the truck, I put it in here, and now it's on a staging inbound area where it can be evaluated for quality, or probably we're just waiting for another forklifter to make a put away, right? So I'm going to make this, I'm going to put the put away, and my license plate is going to be 04251902. Yep, there it is, the license plate, which is the same one that I already scanned. It's 5 pieces. You are picking out from your receiving location, which is my inbound. And now system directed, are you picking something else from there? No. Systematically directed, we know that we need to put this on bulk 001. So it's not the user decision, right, to know where this needs to be, where items needs to be placed. The system, based on location directives, are telling him go to bulk 1 and drop them there. Location directives based on volume, based on weight, based on priorities, right? So all that is something that we need to set up, and we just hit the OK button, and we're done. That's all the warehouse. Those are the 2 actions that the warehouse guys needs to perform. So actually, it's pretty easy. We are looking right now into a mobile app. Okay, if I go here to my purchase order line and I see my work details, you will see everything is closed, right? I can see the load in here. The load is going to contain my packing structure, which has all my serial numbers in here. I didn't scan every single one. And now I can just post my product receipt. I do this here, hit the yes button, and hit OK. My receiving process is done. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's related receiving. I can come here as well and say, okay, you know what, now I want to invoice this. I can invoice it. We have a way here to manage, depending on your processes. A guy on the AP side can go look for the PO and type in the invoice number, right? Perform a 3-way matching. So right now it says not performed. Now it says passed. And now I can post it, right? So this is the way how we post a purchase order invoice. Pretty easy, 3 steps. Okay. So now what other challenges do we face on AP side? And probably the most concerned one is AP departments are tending to reduce the number of employees, right, based on new technologies such as OCR import-export capabilities. Okay, so unfortunately, as a company, we need to be ready for those changes. So what finance and operations allow us to do? Well, it allows us to actually import from EDI, okay, import OCR invoices, or import invoices and evaluate them by OCR, right? So I'm going to show you then basically first thing is how in this form I just have 2 records, right? Well, right now I have 3 records. I'm going to create a 4th one by importing an invoice, so I don't need a person typing in, invoices. Right now I have this load, and I'm going to say import this. Again, it's a periodic process that it's receiving files, and depending on the tables that we are uploading, we have different stuff. So right now, 2nd target, 3rd record has been inserted. you see here, you have a log. So this is interface basic concept. So we need to have a log of what is happening every time. And now if I go back to this screen, I have a new record. So no one touched it. I just import invoices from my vendor, right? And nice capability is if I go to the header here of my invoice, I will be able to see my attachments here, which is my invoice, right? And even better, I have a side-by-side comparison. This is what was dropped from the data, and this is what we have here, okay? So this is part of it. Going to go to production orders really fast. So production floor management, great insight for the guys on the production floor. Production order to release that were generated from the master planning. You see this warning saying, hey, you cannot release it because you don't have materials. Great insight for these guys. So, okay, you are telling me that I cannot release it, but now tell me when do I can release? So if I go to a Gantt chart right now, I can basically say, hey, you know what, show me when I can do it. So let's just wait for this till it's still processing. Come on. So this, I will open and expand all this stuff. This is my operation. I will say PO736, show me when do I need to schedule based on material availability. And this moves. So I'm going to undo the change. Based on material availability, this needs to be here. And now, because this moves, how do I move all the next operations? I will do a schedule next operations. And it says, okay, you cannot do it in this time frame, so that means that it's going to take more time. So I go to my Gantt chart, I open my time scale to probably look into 1228, and apply, and hit OK. And now I will be able to perform this action. Let's just wait for it. Okay, apply, okay. And now I will do this. Next jobs. This one also moved. And now I can save it. And now I know when I can release this production order. Great insight for the manufacturing side. Manufacturing process. If I go to my production control, production orders, you will see I have two different orders here. One is based on jobs, another one is based on routes. Okay, so I can see all the jobs in this one. This means this is not, well, this is not production floor control. So this one is, the first one is. So how do I process something here? First thing, I need to release it. I need to hit release this to the floor. Okay. And second step is now the guys on the floor, they will have access to a job card device. They hit 000713, which is their personal number, and they will see all the tasks that are assigned to them. So I'm going to select my first task, which is an electrical setup. I'm going to see if I have some instructions. Yeah, I have instructions. So I can attach whatever type of instructions do I need to have on my floor, right? So I can hit start. I'm going to hit OK, and this is start recording time, right? This is a setup, and the system is going to start reporting. I'm going to say that I'm complete. I'm going to say OK. And then I will go to my next job. And my next job, I'm going to start it. And I have more instructions. How many I want to start? One. I'm going to report a completion, right? One. Next job, start. Hit OK. Once I'm done, report the progress. Hit complete. Whoop, it posts a picking list journal. So now we consume material automatically. Next job, start. It's a setup. That's why there's no quantity. I'm completed. So again, if you visualize this as a line where every single work cell can have a computer which is touch screen. They can start and complete the stuff. They don't even need to take a look at anything else. They have the instructions on in front of their machines, right? They're processing a production order, and right now we just report it as finished. If I go back to my production order, let me just go here, you're going to see the status of this one change to report as finished, right? So now we have pieces under. How do we manage cost? We can have the view cost comparison, right? Realized, estimated, active. There are a lot of variances in this one, but you have a way to identify them. Indirect costings, they are here. Overheads, they are here. So we can set up all this stuff based on our resources. That's the way we can process a production order by using shop floor control. How do I drop a sales order? And probably this is going to be the last thing that I'm going to do since I think we're running out of time. So I'm going to create a new sales order. I'm going to select my customer, okay, which is going to be Orchard. Yep. I'm going to say my warehouse is 56. I'm going to hit OK. Credit cards, nice stuff. Header. Do we support credit card transactions? Yep. Just select the credit card number and hit manage and hit authorize. And this go back and send you an authorization number. Credit card. Okay, we don't have an amount here yet, so my bad. So let's just put, this is my item. It's going to be 50 cents, one piece. Now I'm going to process. It says I don't have items. Good. This says credit card stuff. Authorize my verification 236. Hit OK. I have an authorization number. This authorization number is going to get all the way till the time of the payment once I invoice. This item, it's a Kanban item. So let's say it's a kit. You need to control items, but you don't have inventory on hand of it. Every time you generate one sale of this type, you got to produce it, but you don't want a production order, right? So what we can do, we can have what we call Kanbans. If I hit this one, I will see this Kanban here. Hey, produce one piece, and you need to use all these materials. How hard is to process this? Start, complete. Materials were consumed, and now I have one piece to fulfill my sales order. So if I go to my sales order back, all sales orders, right? I go to my latest one. Right now I will be able to ship it, which I will be doing it in the fastest way. Post a packing slip. Hit OK. I don't need to do anything else since there is reservation already against this sales order. There was 0 pieces. I produced one. It's already associated. Invoice. Hit invoice. OK. Send it by email if we want. Send it by EDI if we want. And the invoice is there. It says a journal was posted. Good stuff. So let's go to customer payments, and I will see all the Amex payment journals. I'll go to the latest one. This is here. Orchard, Amex voucher, descriptions, and the authorization code. Okay, so this is credit card in F&O. It's standard, nothing else required.